Could the European Union face an economic collapse by 2030? This question stirs the minds of economists and policymakers alike. Let's delve into the current economic landscape. The European Union, just like the rest of the world, was not spared from the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic. The year 2020 witnessed a historic recession with varying degrees of impact on different member states. To counteract the downturn, public debt levels rose significantly, with some nations even exceeding a 100% debt-to-GDP ratio. The aftermath of the recession saw a rebound in economic activity. However, the European Commission has revised its growth forecast downwards, reflecting the economic challenges faced by member states. As debt levels linger and growth forecasts dwindle, the future of the EU's economy hangs in the balance. Political instability in key EU nations exacerbates the Union's economic woes. France and Germany, two economic powerhouses of the European Union, are grappling with their own political crises. These crises are not just internal matters. They have far-reaching implications, especially when it comes to the economy. Both countries are wrestling with budget deficits and competitiveness issues, making it harder for them to contribute to the EU's overall economic stability. But the challenges don't stop at the borders of these nations. The European Union as a whole is walking a tightrope. On one side, strained relations with China are threatening the Union's trade and economic partnerships. On the other side, the spectre of potential trade tariffs from the United States is casting a long shadow over the EU's economic future. And then there's defence. The EU is feeling the pressure to increase its defence spending in response to Russian aggression. This demand comes at a time when resources are already stretched thin. The need to invest in defence is putting additional strain on the economies of member states, which are already grappling with their own economic challenges. The combination of internal political crises and external pressures is creating a perfect storm. It's a storm that's threatening to further weaken the Union's economy, making it even more difficult for the EU to navigate the turbulent waters of global economics. These political crises and international tensions add another layer of complexity to the EU's already fragile economy. Recent developments in global markets spark fears of a potential financial crisis in the EU. The date is April 7, 2025. Stock markets across the globe experience a significant drop, setting off alarm bells about a possible worldwide recession. The European Union, still grappling with economic and political challenges, stands on the precipice of a financial crisis. The catalyst? An announcement from the United States declaring increased tariffs. This move introduces a new layer of complexity to the already strained international trade relations. The EU, in response, proposes negotiations with the US, aiming to quell these escalating trade tensions. It's a delicate balancing act, navigating the choppy waters of international diplomacy while maintaining economic stability at home. Yet, the future remains uncertain. The US shows no signs of backing down on tariffs, and the EU is left in a precarious position. The potential for a financial crisis looms large, a storm cloud on the horizon of the EU's economic landscape. While experts debate strategies to mitigate the situation, the reality is clear. The EU is under threat. The significant drop in global markets, coupled with burgeoning trade tensions, has set the stage for a potential financial crisis. It's a situation that demands careful attention, strategic planning, and above all, resilience in the face of economic adversity. With trade tensions on the rise and global markets in flux, the EU faces the very real threat of a financial crisis. As we look towards 2030, the economic future of the European Union remains uncertain. The EU's economic landscape, once a beacon of stability and prosperity, is now riddled with hurdles. The pandemic-induced recession of 2020 left an indelible mark, resulting in skyrocketing public debt levels and a sluggish economic rebound. Political crises, notably in France and Germany, have further compounded these economic challenges, throwing the Eurozone's financial balance into question. Strained international relations, potential trade tariffs, and the looming threat of increased defence spending only add to the uncertainty. And then, there's the spectre of a financial crisis, shadowing the EU like a dark cloud. The recent drop in global stock markets, coupled with the US's hard stance on tariffs, has sparked fears of an imminent financial collapse. The EU is at a crossroads. grappling with economic stagnation, political upheaval, and financial instability. The resilience of the Union will be tested as it navigates these tumultuous waters. The possibility of an economic collapse looms over the EU, presenting a formidable challenge for economists and policymakers as we approach 2030.